Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. From the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two Dum Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Hola, hola. Good morning and hola. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you may be. Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is episode 889. 11 episodes away from the big 900, guys. Be breaking into season 9 by the end of the month. By midsummer, we will be at episode 1000. Guys, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show. A lot has happened in the last 24 hours. We got a lot of things to get into. Lots and lots of things to get into. Of course, it's going to be Mike Tomlin heavy today. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, everything that Coach T brought to the table. We're not going to leave anything out because the guy that stuck around for 20 years, I guess you got to give him his props. And you know what? I'm going to give him his props. He deserves your respect. He deserves my respect. You know what? You could have been happy with what he did. You might not have been happy with what he did. But at the end of the day, I think as a Steeler fan, he does deserve your respect. And I think that's the least that we could do for the man as he decides to step down. Wasn't fired. Stepped down, but make no mistake, that's by design. It was it was mutual, believe me, and I'll get into that a lot more today. We'll look at new coaching possibilities. We'll look at the odds on a handful of coaches. Also look at some names, possibilities, a whole lot of things going on today, guys, as this is the dawn of a new era, if you will, for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just the third time, and it's going to only be the fourth head coach in my life. Obviously, I was a young man whenever we had Chuck Noll. Bill Cowher was there during my prime of growing up. And then Coach T for the last 20 years. So as I said, guys, I think he deserves our respect. We're going to give it to him. We're going to talk about Coach T today. Again, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to get into it all today. Welcome back to the show. Yes, this is episode 889 of the Two Dum Yinzers, guys. Welcome back. I'm glad to see everybody on the board this morning. I want to start by saying this. I want to give you guys a big thank you. And listen, I thank you guys, right? I seem appreciative. I want to give you a big thank you as the show yesterday yielded just under 1,500 comments. Again, in December, we did break the 1,000 comment barrier for the first time in show history. You guys did it. You guys came in just under 1,500 comments on the day yesterday. This is why you're the best. And this is why I tell everybody that you're the best. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's time to get into it. A lot of things to get into, guys. As I said, it is Mike T. It's Coach. He's no longer Mike Tomlin to me. He's Coach Tomlin forever. As every time I refer to Bill Cowher, he's Coach Cowher. And every time I refer to Chuck Noll, he's Coach Noll. When somebody's active and you're mad at them, on a week-to-week basis, you call him whatever. Mike Tomlin, MT, head coach. He's Coach Tomlin from now on, guys. I think he earned that. I think he earned that from us. Guys, I know Jamal, I know you love him, guys. A lot of people loved him, and we're going to get into a lot of things today, so do stick around. If you have any interest in this Mike Tomlin stepping down, less than 24 hours ago, I'm sorry. And again, it's the beginning of a new era, if you will. Some people were anxious. Can we find somebody that could at least do as well as Mike? Got some people that are excited. Again, I think we have the content today to keep everybody in the game, because again, I do believe that we owe, as a Steeler fan and as a human being, I think we owe Mike Tomlin our respect. So let's get into it, guys. Again, thank you so much on the big 1,500 comments on the show yesterday. You guys are amazing, and I got the best team in Western PA. Believe me, I have the best team in Western PA. We'll get a little bit more into that later on today in the show as well, guys. A lot of things to get into. Let me start on the board though this afternoon. Again, depending where you are, welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm going to jump on this board. I don't want to leave anybody out today. But Mike is going to put this Art Rooney content across the bottom of the screen as he is speaking, as we speak. He had an interview today regarding Mike Tomlin, Coach Tomlin, I'm sorry. And the information of significance or anything of such is going across the bottom of your screen. And we'll continue to go across the bottom of the screen as we continue to get it. So there you see it moving right across the screen below me, guys. Let me get to this board, though. A lot of thanks and a lot of love and a lot of respect to you guys. Again, 1,500 comments yesterday on our show. New record. You guys are it. Always say you guys are the bloodline of this show, and I always mean it. Let's jump on it, everybody. Good morning to Tortilla, my man Tortilla Jackson from way out west in Sacramento, California. He says this: Rooney said he doesn't think anyone on our staff is a candidate for head coach, meaning no Arthur Smith. Thank God. You ain't kidding. And we got a lot to get into today. We're going to learn some things, and maybe some things you already know. Nonetheless, we're going to talk a lot about this today, guys. My man RB, the CBS Pick'em's champion of the year, RB. He says, good morning. How did everyone enjoy their Independence Day? Steeler Freak John, my man Big John Stud, middle name Mud, says this: I wonder, was Tomlin told to walk away or get fired? He went from I don't want to think about my options after the game to I have been thinking about this a long time within 12 hours. That's a good point. We'll get into that and a lot more as well. Tortilla also says Rooney said he was down to give him one more. Well, he has one more year on the contract. we still own the rights to Coach Tomlin. So a lot of things could happen with that. We'll get into that as well today. Jolly, what's up, dude? Jolly Mon back on the terrible board. Glad to see you. Happy 889, my man Lindsay. Always great seeing the great Lindsay on the terrible board. I hope you're doing well, ma'am. John says this, 70-71, things can be said to safe. Absolutely. And in this situation, with an organization like the Steelers, a lot of things are being said to save face. We're going to get into so much today, guys. I think you're going to really enjoy today's show. Corey Beavers, my man. What up, brother? He says, who are they slated to interview? I have I got a lot of names. I have some odds. I have some ages, all kind of stuff, guys. We're going to get into it. Good question, Corey. Lindsay says this. He said it was a family decision. Hey, you got to do what you got to do. My man, Jamal, gang, what's up, brother? I listen, I know you're the biggest Coach Tomlin fan in the house, and I thought about you. I truly did. I thought about you, man. DJJ Johnson Shopping Sherlock says this: go Steelers. That's right, baby. Go Steelers. It's always go Steelers. Whether it be August, whether it be December, whether it be January, whether it be May, It's always go Steelers. Not to mention, guys, we're just 99 days away from the NFL draft right here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Guys, this is a big year for your Steelers. Again, it started the day after our last football game. A lot is going to happen. There's going to be a lot of changes. And again, we're going to have to just see how this thing plays out. Jamal says, this is Mike Tomlin for life. Sorry to see him go, but I agree, dude. It's a business decision. If we had a quarterback that got 500 record every year, but always got bounced in the playoffs, you wouldn't want to keep that guy. Not because of who he is, not because anything, but besides the fact that it's business is business. You got to be able to win. You know, that's the purpose in the game. Maybe if you're the Cardinals or one of these other teams, but this is it's a thriving business. The Pittsburgh Steelers is. In the your voice was heard, and I said this earlier in the season. I said, guys, you got to be vocal. If you're unhappy, let it be known. And I'm pretty sure the next week they were chanting "Fire Tomlin." But again, guys, it is business. You're the customer. Were you satisfied by the job that was being done? In January, no. And that's when it counts. What's good? All the 500 records and getting into the playoffs if no success follows. So again, in anything, your starting quarterback, I say, would be the most comparable person to a head coach. If your quarterback gets you 500 seasons for the next decade, but loses in the first playoff game every year, you're gonna kind of want to get a new quarterback, aren't you? Again, business is business, and that's always been the case for me. Concerning Coach T, let's continue on the board. I'm going to go right here. Tortilla says this. Well, he keeps not wanting to get into certain things with Mike's contract. I feel he wouldn't answer that if it was the case. He flat out said he was shocked and willing to give it. You know what? And everybody was shocked. Matter of fact, everybody, the team, nobody knew what was going on. Everybody in the organization, in the building, was certainly shocked yesterday, as we were. I thought that it may come. I didn't expect it to come the day after the playoff loss, but here we are. Sly Smooth 2006. What up, brother? What up? He says, I saw the presser with AR2. He says this. He seemed annoyed that Mike left like he did. John says, I agree, Ryan. He had to walk or the axe was coming. Exactly. This was planned. This was worked out. This is nothing that he just came to work yesterday and said, you know what, I'm done, guys. He makes a lot of money. This is a big business. It isn't like when I was working at Wendy's at 18 and I said, fuck this place, I'm out. This has to benefit Tomlin, Coach Tomlin. It has to help him. Again, gives him a little wiggle room with this year. Again, if he steps, if he would have got fired, that wouldn't have been good for anybody. That's not good for business. So the Steelers being the organization they are, it doesn't surprise me, but I do believe it was 100% mutual at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, the Pittsburgh Steelers is the company, the business. And again, at the end of the day, business is business, and it's business as usual. Unfortunately, for everybody that loved having him as head coach, I feel for you. Myself personally, I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to find somebody that may be able to move forward with this team. I don't think that's illogical. Again, why keep a quarterback around that can't get you any wins in January? You could say a lot about Watt and this and that, and I agree. Believe me, don't get me started on him. He's a whole other day. He gets his own day for the money he makes. But the quarterback, I would say, is, the head coach's stamp is on everything. Win, lose, or draw, bad, good, or ugly, his stamp is on everything. If it goes, it means he accepted it ultimately to go. And again, the quarterback, who else has as much responsibility on a team except for a quarterback? So again, as I'm seeing the bottom of the screen, Rooney and Omar Khan will lead the head coaching search. And I got to say this, we're going to learn a lot about Omar Khan this offseason. Again, guys, as we are only 99 days away from the draft right here in Western Pennsylvania, guys, it's going to be on like Donkey Kong in no time flat. It's going to be, we're going to get through the playoffs before you know football season will be over. And it's going to be time to get into that. So, so much coming up in this year, the year of change, 2026 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, if you will. Let me stay on the board here for a little bit because, again, I don't want to miss anybody today. You guys rocked it yesterday with 1,500 1,500 comments on the board, and we appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much. Game ball to you. No two ways about it. Let's get back into the comments here. I think I'm right here. I wish there was a way that my screen, my board didn't move on me. Is there any way that we could make that happen, Mike? Okay, I'm gonna go over here. John does say, I agree, Ron. We had to walk, or the axe was coming. He and the owner can write that any way they want or any way they want to spin it. I agree. This wasn't on it. Come on. RB says, the good, tell me anything he did good besides the guys liked him. What in actual coaching sense did he do well? Bad game plan, bad discipline, bad adjustments, bad hires, bad clock management. Good points. We'll get to all that. Jamal says, and I know you are here for it, my brother, and I thank you for that. And I am eternally here for you as well, sir. Just Learning, he says this. I do want to say welcome to Just Learning this afternoon. Tomlin is literally a winner third in the division 5-12 next year. And if it is 5-12 next year, we certainly gave this guy enough time, Coach Tomlin, I'm sorry, to make it right. So to be fair, we'll have to give the next guy 10 years. I don't know about that, but I think we have to be a little patient. Who knows? He might come in and win a playoff game. We don't know. We have no answers. Right now, we don't know who the coach is going to be. Right now, we don't know who our quarterback is going to be. So anything could happen, guys. Anything could truly happen moving into the season coming up, guys. The 2026 football season, if you will. Let me go right here. Tyrone, my man Tyrone, what up, brother? He's always rocking it in the house. He says this, Art Rooney just said no candidates in the locker room. Great news. I agree. Again, I have a list of names here, people within, people without, people all around. We're going to get into it all today. Look at some odds on who's leading the way at this moment, according to the Steelers website. Something official. I do know that. I forget where I got it. Let's talk that shit. Jamal, my man. Tortilla says, like when they asked if he would pick up Tomlin's option, he didn't answer, but he said he wouldn't. And that's the thing. I mean, I think that he would. And if it came back on a 1-year thing and it all comes down to it, I don't see that being out of the question. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibilities. He is still under, contract for another year with the Steelers. Any team does have to contact us and go through us to hire Mike Tomlin as their head coach. As their head coach, guys. So it's very interesting. It's going to be a very interesting offseason. If you haven't spent an offseason with us before, be sure to do it this year because it's going to be nonstop, beginning to end, between hires, fires, drafts, everything in between, guys. We got a lot of stuff to get into today. No two ways about that. Bingo, what's up, Bingo Winchester in the house? What's up, brother? Always great seeing Bingo. Jamal says, Mike T to GOAT, baby. Also, Tyrone says, I'm glad we got a new start. Ultimately, I am too. Again, much respect to Coach T. Don't let the man walk away mad. Let him walk away, guys. Tortilla says, yeah, MFers are never going to stop hating on Tomlin even after we hire the 5th head coach. And I hope you're wrong. You know what I mean? I don't know if you are, and I'm not going to comment on it at the time, but I hope you're wrong. I think the time of hating on Tomlin should be done now. It's over. There's no reason to hate the guy. There's none. He was serviceable to our team. I certainly didn't do the worst job ever. I think that as a Steeler fan, he does deserve our respect. Let's go here. Tyrone says, I want an offensive-minded coaches, and there's a handful of them out there. There are. Again, we're going to get into names a lot more today. Jamal says this. I know he could have gotten us there with a good – maybe, probably. It's hard to say, man. It truly is. Sly Smooth, 2006, he says AR2 states that Khan will be, Arthur Rooney II, of course, states that Khan will be in the process of hiring a new head coach along with him, and I find that interesting. I do too. Sly, Steeler Freak, my man says the Patriots were 3-14. What they got this year? What are they this year? That's exactly my point. And this was the point I was trying to drive home as we were getting to this point. And as you're seeing, of course, the Rooney Conference across the bottom of the screen, keep your eye on that as Mike is keeping us updated on everything being said at the Art Rooney press conference this afternoon, guys, giving his final words on everything. So you can get some valuable information as that goes across the bottom of the screen as well. But John, you're 100% right. Everybody thought New England was toast. They bring in a new guy, new energy, get themselves a young stud. Number 2 seed, they got a damn good chance to go into the Super Bowl. I'm just saying. They caught up to us when they had none. They passed us, and now they have a chance to go back. Guys, we were stale. We were stagnant. We sat by as the time went by, year after year after year, and watched people hoist the Vince Lombardi trophy as we continued to have the same result year after year after year. So I couldn't agree with you more. And I know you hate to look at them because they're as likable as bad breath, but look at the New England Patriots. It's very consistent what's going on around the league with new coaches and young quarterbacks. Again, something else we did drive home early. Again, almost every team in the playoffs right now has a newer head coach in a stud young quarterback-ish kind of quarterback. We'll get into that in more detail, of course, as we do go. Bingo says, I heard Watt is glad he's gone. Weird players are usually ride or die with their coach. I didn't hear that, Bingo. I don't doubt your word. But I do know that a lot of players are showing their love. A lot of players are showing their appreciation for Coach Tomlin. Tyrone says we need a quarterback, a wide receiver, a guard, a DB, a safety, a linebacker. Oh, just learning. And that's the same thing. I just kind of asked the same question. Again, I don't doubt you. Bingo, you are very helpful on the show and on the board and very active all the time. We love you. Just kind of curious where you did hear that. Just learning says, Bingo, where'd you hear that? Roger, my man, what's going on, Coach? What's going on, Roger? My man, he says, my first call would be to Bill Cowher just to see where his interest is. I think maybe we should move on. I just do. I just do. Again, it's a business. You have to keep your clientele happy. Would it make a certain percentage of the clientele happy? Yes, it certainly would. But again, we have to look at each and every possibility. I think that we think could be the best possibility for this team moving forward. Because again, the guy wasn't a non-successful coach through his career. He just had a rough playoff patch. And again, I guess you could put that in that category. But again, guys, still serviceable to an extent to where, we won a lot of football games. At the end of the day, we managed to win a lot of football games in that period of time. Unfortunately, none of them were in January. But I like the Cowher idea. But again, as a company, I don't see how that could go well overall, especially with the way Tomlin, how that went out. But that's just my opinion. We'll get more into that also. Tyrone says, where'd you hear that at? To Bingo. Skiller Freak says, I know he was never going to get them there. Tortilla says, I think the fan was saying one high-profile player wanted Tomlin out, but who knows if it's true. Tyrone says, I want Clint Kubiak or Brian Flores. They are on my list. Because we have a big list. I have a big list. I have a bunch of names. I think you're going to enjoy the show today, guys. Do stick around. Joe, what's up? Yinzers, what's up, brother? Real the Steel says, don't be crying and acting all like it wasn't time for Tomlin to go. Faces and names change. Let's see who's next. And I agree. And that's the thing. I'm the biggest component of it's business as usual. The biggest proponent. I really am. And I've been saying it all along. And I give examples with food, restaurant places, and medications and everything else throughout the course of the show to try to put in an analogy. Tortilla says, you cried for him to be fired all year. I can cry. There you go. Corey says, for the love of God, I hope they didn't ask his opinion for head coach replacements. Yes, I agree. Tyrone says, we need to pay JPJ and Herbig now before they value raises up. Phil the Steel says, oops, I forgot. What's up? What's up, Watt fans? Always great to see you. Phil, he says, here we go, Steelers. Here we go. John says, this Flores as head coach, McDaniels is offensive coordinator. Let his skinny ass with a 50-pound brain design plays. Let Flores motivate players on. But I'm not against Brian Flores. I mean, the narrative would, by a lot of people would say that we are, but we're not. If Brian Flores can come here and be successful, by all means, welcome. And again, there's a lot of options. We're going to look at all of them. All of them. Everything that we have, at least today, we're going to look at all of them. Right here, and Tyrone says, Steeler Freak, that's what I want. Skiller Freak says, let Finchy know I want Flores. So there he goes, the hate narrative. There you go, Finch. You're listening. It's definitely not because he was a black guy then. There you go. Tyrone says, we are Steeler fans for absolutely. And if my quarterback, again, can't get me a playoff win in 10 years, I want him gone. And if my head coach can't get me a playoff win in 10 years, I want him gone. Again, those are the two most influential positions on a football team when it comes down to it. Lindsay says, I want an offensive-minded. Boy, wouldn't that be different? We've never had an offensive-minded head coach. We've had good offensive-minded coordinators. Mike Mularkey was pretty good. And even, I think Haley was an offensive guy. Wouldn't it be weird to have an offensive coach after all these years, guys? Let's move on. Justin Just Learning says Mike McCarthy, which I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% against. And again, I really am going to hold judgment until we get through all these names and everything, because I don't want to influence anybody's mind and their decisions and what they think on the matter. So we're going to get into it here shortly. Joe says fans better remember that they wanted this, yelled fire Tomlin with a no quarterback on this team, a bunch of old guys, and the toughest schedule coming up. You're right. We have a first place schedule next year. Keep that in mind too. We might have a rookie quarterback playing. We might have a new coach. It's going to be the toughest possible schedule the Steelers could have had. It was a first place schedule, and you know what? It's going to be very interesting, to say the least, on how this plays out. Jolly says, I was not, but I'm not a Steeler. Tortilla says, surprised, I think is what he's saying. Tortilla, we don't fire our head coach. We would have been given one more year and let go. Bingo says it was classy to move on and announce it quickly to allow the organization the best opportunity to find a replacement. I agree. And that's what they did. And believe me, don't let them fool you. This was just random out of the blue. Again, this is $1 billion industry. These guys make millions of dollars on their paychecks. This is not, oh, guys, I'm not going to come in anymore. I'm going to step down. It's believe me. Jolly says this, Steeler fan. Okay, got you on that one. Tyrone says fire Smith and fire Terrell Austin. Cut Jonnu Smith, PK, DK, TJ, J Ram, reconstruct their contracts. Only Gainwell, maybe CA3 to resign. Everybody else can walk. Cam and Isaac Siamalo can retire. Lindsay, we had Aaron Rodgers. And of course, people might say we didn't have a good quarterback. Do know, I could pop it up. Aaron Rodgers, since tearing his ACL, or what was it, his Achilles 2 years ago. So to say we didn't have a quarterback, let me just throw this at you real quick. Aaron Rodgers, since he tore his Achilles tendon, guys, ages 41 and 42, threw for 7,414 yards, 56 touchdowns, 18 interceptions, went on to win the AFC North in his first attempt at it. If you're going to look at it that way, you got to really throw it into what have you done for me lately? And again, what is Coach T and Coach Tomlin? But again, he did have a quarterback in that sense. I mean, we could have a lot worse, believe me. We could have a lot worse quarterback situations, and we did. We went through the pick there. We went through the Trubiskys and the Masons and the Duck Hodges and everything that we went through in the past. It wasn't the worst quarterback situation we could have been in this year. Matter of fact, it was probably one of the better, unfortunately, better quarterback situations we could have been in, as weird as it is to say and even hear myself say that. Sly Smooth, not only does this job bring security, but also, exactly. Listen, one thing I do want to say, if you're at all superficial, look at the guy's face, because you're probably going to see it for a very long time. Say you want an ugly guy to get the job. Just remember, you got to look at that ugly mug for the next decade at least, and more than likely more. I'm just saying, if that's your thing. I'm just saying, I don't want to see Arthur Smith's big face on my TV everywhere. I just don't. I don't know. Again, I don't think he's going to be our head coach, but just saying. Let's see. Let's go right here. Also, let me finish that comment where Sly does say this. Not only does this job bring security, but also a new head coaching job can truly rebuild a strong franchise from the bottom up. I agree. I couldn't agree more. Again, there's so much energy, young energy in the NFL right now, and they're all in the playoffs. And even if they're not young coaches, they're newer coaches. Mike Vrabel's. Go down the list. Pick a team, any team. Liam Cohen down in Jacksonville. And even an older guy, Jay Payton, he's older, but still a new coach in the system. All these teams in the playoffs have one thing in common: newer coaches, younger stud quarterbacks, and we're in a position to grab both of those now. That's a plus, guys. Yes, we do respect Mike Tomlin, Coach Tomlin, and I wish him the very best. And again, I hope he goes elsewhere and wins a Super Bowl, just to tell us we're wrong. By all means, I'll accept that. But for where we are, business is business. And again, anybody that doesn't get it done in crunch time when it matters for 10 years in a row in any job probably isn't going to be around. Look around your life. If somebody comes in and they do your job with you for a good all year round, when it gets to Christmas, the heavy time, and they shit the bed every year, you have to do something. I mean, that's the moneymaker. That's when it matters. That's what you're there for. This busy season. So again, a lot to be said. I think a lot of respect. Ultimately, guys, that is going to be a point I'm going to drive home today because there's no reason not to respect the gentleman as he does move on with his venture. And again, I have nothing bad to say about him. I hope he does well, and I hope he proves me wrong. Please, Coach T, prove me wrong. Tortilla says his contract would have been up, and we would have let him walk. Feel the Steel says faces and names change, but the black and gold stays bold. And that's it, man. And that's it. I agree. It's no time to divide, Steeler Nation. This is a time to grow together. Listen, we had different opinions on the last couple of coaches. Let's get somebody we all like, and let's agree, and let's fucking kick ass. Sorry for my French, but let's go back and be the Steelers again. I don't know who ain't down for that, right? Say somebody comes along and gets us a playoff win in the next year or two. Or gets even further. Those are good things for us, guys. We're going to enjoy that. And I'm just saying the head of the job wasn't getting done, unfortunately. Now pay 50 and pay 54 now. Just learning. Yeah. I'm a fan. Roger says this: you got to have some balls to want to follow Mike T. The new coach is going to feel the pressure like no other. Very possibly. And you know what? Is that a bad thing, though? Maybe that'll keep him on his toes, won't let him get too comfortable. When people get too comfortable, you might get a little, and that could have been the case for Coach T. You might have got a little too comfortable over time. You know what? It's human. He's a human being. I get it. We've all done it. We've all got a little too comfortable at our jobs and maybe didn't do the best job ever. Unfortunately, we didn't get paid millions of dollars. I'm guessing most of us, but come on. At the end of the day, time for hate is over, in my opinion. Your opinions are your opinions. Throw them up on the board. I will accept them all, and we love them all. I'm just telling you where I'm coming from. Let's go right here. Tortilla, Austin contract is up. I'd be shocked if we bring him back. It's going to be interesting. I think we go wide receivers. I mean, you got Lemon. You got a bunch of guys. You got a bunch of guys in the draft. It's the year of change, and at the end of the day, it's a good thing. Change can be good sometimes, guys, or we have 10 years in a row showing us that it was probably going to continue to be the same, unfortunately. Let me go right here. Tortilla says Terrell Austin. RB. Mike didn't even have the balls to show and resign like a man cower. And I mean, again, I think it was very well orchestrated within the company. I truly do. I don't think he walked in, like I said, when I was 18 and I quit my job at Wendy's and I threw my apron on the counter and said, F this, I'm out. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, very high-paid players and people at play here. It was planned, believe me. Because so much goes into it. The guy's career moving forward. Again, he's still under contract. This was mutually decided. Whether it's said or not, I think common sense would tell us different, or would tell us this. Tyrone says, that's right, Tortilla, thank God. Tortilla says, for real, thank God, just hoping someone signs Arthur. Well, I know that, listen, Arthur Smith not only got the invite from Tennessee, he's supposed to go down there today and interview for their head coaching job. We also did get contacted from the Arizona Cardinals, who also has interest in Arthur Smith. So if you're a big Arthur Smith guy, I don't know. He's being talked to. He's being interviewed by multiple football teams, and I'm sure it's probably going to grow as time moves on. And I'm fine with that. By all means, listen. If it's time to move on, it's time to move on. let's cut out everything that didn't work and let's get on this thing and get back in the right track and start moving in the right direction for starters. That was one of my big things. And again, listen, I'm not over talking. I'm talking about my life experience. When I was a kid, I watched Cowher come into the league. I watched the team get to the playoffs and lose. I watched them get to the playoffs the next year and win and then lose the second round. I watched them the next year get to the AFC Championship game and come up 3 yards short in 1994. The following year, I watched the team make it to the Super Bowl. There's a certain progression, I think, as fans that you want to see. And I can't say that we've seen that in the past decade, unfortunately. So again, there's a process, and as long as things start getting better, people aren't going to be on this person, whoever it is, white, black, Indian, Asian, Jones, Mack, Williams, whatever the case may be. I think you got to give the new guy a little wiggle room to see if he can start to make that progress. I think it's very unfair to give the new person who's never. And again, none of these coaches that we had in the last 100,000 years, these 3 big ones, they didn't have any head coaching experience. Keep that in mind. So again, let's give respect where respect is due to everything, guys. We are Steeler Nation. We are moving forward. The best thing we can do is do it together and get ready and rebuild together. And that way, when the season starts next year, we're even stronger as a community, guys. I'm here for it. I know you guys are here for it. Let's get it. Let's do it. And we have no choice at this point, right? Or we could all sit around and call each other names for 8 months. Come on. I'm kind of tired. I'm kind of tired of that life going on. Social media has certainly been a double-edged sword in this country for sure. Let's move on. Tyrone, me too. Jamal says, no, y'all ran him out of the city. And y'all ran him and GP out of the city. I don't know who ran GP out of the city. I know everybody in Pittsburgh was happy about DK and GP. Look at this duo. And then we woke up one day and he was gone. That one was a surprise to me. Steeler Freak says this: there are 22 one-year contracts. There will be many people gone once the head coach is announced. Expect a young team that will need a couple years to grow. Again, we're not the same experience. We're not the team anymore. We had the coach that's been here. We had players that's been here. It's going to be a new team. It's going to be a new look, and hopefully it's a team that can have a look of winning games in January when it matters. Because at the end of the day, you as fans, I as a fan, that's what we're in it for. We root for the person. We root for the uniform. You know what I mean? Guys come and go, whatever the case may be. As long as they're wearing our uniforms, we do root for them. Sly Smooth says this: will Dan be a part of the hiring? Was never mentioned, but we would think he would be. I would assume so. I think somebody mentioned it on the board that they did see that somewhere. I can't confirm, but I do recall seeing that earlier on the show. Phil says this: wait, he hasn't thanked Steele. He has. There's absolutely. Here in Pittsburgh, all I've seen was appreciation posts from Coach Tomlin. And I think there's the official resignation on the Pittsburgh Steelers website. And yes, he's thanked Steeler Nation plenty in the last 24 hours. I could attest to that. Tyrone says GP was more of a business decision. We didn't scream to get him out of there like Tomlin. Yes. Jamal says, can we get rid of JPQ? Absolutely. Again, the time for change has came. You can't shorthand. You can't listen. If you're going all out, you can't do it ass backwards. If you're going to start, you're going to start all over. Do a big, you can't do it ass backwards. Get in there, figure out what you want, and let's see what we could do moving forward. Ortiz says Mike Tomlin put out a right after the show. I got off, and I seen his post on the website. He certainly did. Very gracious towards Steeler Nation. Yinzer Joe says this: Steelers don't fire anyone. Rooney would have let Tomlin play out his contract, then got a new head coach. To be honest, 30 teams will be fighting over him. Selves for Tomlin. And you know what, Mike? I don't know. Did you? Hold on. Let me pull up my private message here. Okay, so Mike, what I'm going to tell you right now, it might blow your mind if you haven't heard this, but this is the owner, Steve Biscotti, from the Baltimore Ravens, guys. We have a live clip right here of his word on hearing about Coach T getting fired yesterday. And this might interest you a little bit for one reason or another. Mike, let's take a look at what the owner of the Ravens said after hearing about Coach Tomlin resign.
Getting it brought up right now.
And he's okay. Here we go.
Got terminated or stepped down.
I'm sorry, Mike.
Mike Tomlins stepped down at Pittsburgh.
He did? Is it official?
That's what I keep hearing. So, is he a candidate here?
Holy shit, Mike. Wouldn't that be awesome? Only if John takes the Pittsburgh job. Wow. Wouldn't that be interesting? I don't know. That thing last week maybe disqualified him for my opening after our kicker missed a kick to let them advance. Good for Mike. Yeah, I don't know. Talk to him. I love Mike. I mean, I've admired Mike for 18 years, and that's really shocking.
Mike Tomlin has got.
So Mike Tomlin will have zero problem, even the rivals, the hated rivals, as you're hearing from owner Steve Biscotti from the Baltimore Ravens in that footage, guys. He will have no problem finding a job. He's going to be all right. He's going to land on his feet. He is. And again, for the Ravens to say this, that's mad respect. I mean, I think that the guy might be a bit insane just from what I've seen, but I don't know him much. But in all fairness, I don't think Mike Tomlin would find any problems and roadblocks in the way of finding a new job. Let's move on. Right here. Tortilla says this. Exactly. Yinzer Joe, Steeler Freak says 3 tiers in the bucket, 5 years, if just okay, 7 years of initial success like Tomlin. That is the new coaching model in the NFL. Fearless Steel says, get off of TJ's nuts, man. He's on contract. Tyrone says this, TJ just needs reconstruction for real. Also, Tyrone says DKTJ and JRAM need to be reconstructed, and they probably will be. Again, who knows what kind of changes we're going to see this offseason, guys. This is big change situation. We've only been through this 3 times in the past gazillion years, the Steelers. So again, expect the unexpected this upcoming offseason, and it might be a lot sooner than you think. We're going to get into a lot of these names here shortly, but this little tidbit of information, guys. The big three. We're going to call the big 3 from now on, just so we're on the same page. Get this: the Steelers replacements. Noel was hired on a January 27th. 1969. Bear with me. That might not mean a whole bunch to you right now. Let me continue. Cowher was hired on January 21st, 1992. Again, just put it in your pocket. Getting to the point. Mike Tomlin hired on January 22nd, 2007. Those are all 3 January hires. Every Steeler coach, the big 3 that was hired around right now. Maybe a little bit later, the 27th, 21st, and 22nd. So whatever they're going to do, we may see it a lot quicker than we know. We don't know that to be true, but what I'm going by, the only thing I have to go by is the big 3 again. January 27, Noel, January 21, Coach Cowher, January 22, Coach T. All got hired roughly around the same time of year. So it wouldn't surprise me if the Steelers want to kind of nip this in the bud maybe and get it behind them as we go into the offseason. Certainly with the draft coming, guys, in just 99 days right here in Pittsburgh. It's going to be an interesting year, guys. It's probably going to be one of our the offseason here on the show is going to be amazing. I can't wait to talk about all this and get into all this all offseason long, as it's going to be very interesting, very busy. And you might see some surprises here and there. And grab a couple more messages, and we're going to get into some of these talking points. I got some good stuff here, guys. I have names. I'm going to name names. He named names. Let's see. It was in the same place for 7 years. Got that. Sly Smooth, my man. He says this: which players beyond the obvious you think would be? And here's how I'm going to answer that. In Vegas as well. He commented yesterday on the comment section. Who do you want? Who's going to be? I don't know. That's the problem. And that's nobody knows. We're going to look at all the options. We're going to try to figure out who this is about. And the thing is, if we were here, we're going to say, we like this guy just because of his name. We like this guy just because of his appearance. Are we doing the right thing? I think we got to look at it logically, realistically, and look at all the options. Look at all the options, because if this guy is going to be, or gal is going to be here for the next 20 years, perhaps, we better look at all the options. That's all I'm going to say. This isn't a quick fix. Certainly not in the Steelers organization, guys. So I don't know. As much as I want to stand up here and act like I know, I have no clue. There's a million names. I have a bunch of names we're going to look at here in just a minute. Let me grab a couple more. I'm going to grab a couple more, and I swear we're going to move on. And the thing is, I just feel bad. We had, again, congratulations, guys, on you. 1,500 comments yesterday on the terrible board, a new record here. Records always being set here on the show. Thank you so much, guys. I want to try to stay in at least in the game as far as the board goes today. I hate leaving anybody out. If anybody's regular here, they know that. I like every single Steeler Nation voice to be heard. I do. Everyone, because you are Steeler Nation and your voice matters. Let's check out a couple more of these guys. And again, we will get into some of these talking points. I think there's going to be a lot of good ones. And again, I have names. I'm going to name names. That's right. Here we go. Let's grab a couple more. Here we go. Tortilla says, TJ said, I'll give some money back if you get Tomlin gone. Tyrone. We was in the same place for 7. And that's what and that's the bigger picture. And that's what I'm saying. Whatever your feelings are, zoom out a little bit. Let's look at the bigger picture. And believe me, it'll start to make sense. It will. It will. Couple more, guys. We're going to get into some names here. Steeler Freak John, my man, out west in the big Vegas area. John says this: I would keep the offensive line, Washington, Muth, KG, Warren, the defensive line, Peyton Wilson, R. Wilson, Pierre, JPJ. I'm out on Duggar. All others can walk. Lightning Rod, he says, I'm very happy that Tomlin is gone. Thank God. Yinzer Joe says, Patriots drafted Drake May in 24 and built the team around him, and getting Vrabel, look, they're the number 2 seed. If you don't succeed after that, you deserve to be fired. Absolutely. I mean, come on. There's teams that are actually making making their way to try to be better. I think we should get into that as well. And again, I'm not bad mouthing Coach T in any way. Today, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to. I refuse. I believe today should be a day of respect for him because I think he deserved it. He deserves your respect. Whether you liked him, you're satisfied, whatever the case may be. I think as a Steeler fan, Steeler Nation, he deserves our respect. Let's see here. Bingo says one of those Google News articles below the search bar. I get you, man. Believe me, I pull them up sometimes too. And then I say what it says, and everyone goes, what the fuck are you talking about? I get it. Let's see. Lightning Rod 7 says, he goes, I'm not racist. I want to see these Steelers hire a white coach 100%. Field of Steel says, Lightning Rod, welcome to the terrible board. Exchanging pleasantries with Phil. Roger says there are also young coaches and quarterbacks. You're right. You're right. Nothing is 100% across the board. That's another thing that I try to explain to my kids. You know, when I tell them something and they go, well, this, I understand that. Nothing is 100% across the board. Nothing. But look at a lot of the teams, most of the teams, as a matter of fact, that are in the playoffs and are changing their ways and becoming good teams that weren't for a long time are all falling into that pattern, guys. New coaches, young stud quarterbacks. Guess what? We broke the egg. We have to make it now, right? Give me something Tomlin would say, you know. It's in motion. The wheels are in motion. What can we do now? Let me grab a couple more, and then I swear we're going to move on. P, my man, all the way from Japan. Give a big shout out to P. What's up, everybody? P, all the way from Japan, one of the OGs on the terrible board. He says this: Steelers are going to be be trash a few years for draft picks. B, spend money on free agency and stop paying 36-year-old linebackers generational wealth. You're not wrong. You got to do something. You got to start making wiser decisions. And some of these decisions might not have been so wise. I'm just saying. That's not bad-mouthing anybody. It just is what it is. It's life, right? Jamal, my man, gang. Tortilla says, to be fair, Watt is 31. Skiller Freak says this: McDaniel can be an offensive coordinator, can be successful, and won't get taken for head coach later. Flores can be successful. I do know that Brian Flores did interview with Baltimore yesterday. I know a lot of people like Flores. His name certainly come up while in the head coach talk. But Brian Flores did interview with Baltimore yesterday. again, we kind of seen what the maniac over there at the helm of Baltimore got going on. I don't know what the hell's that guy's deal is. He's insane to me, but that has nothing to do with anything I'm talking about. But yes, I did know that Brian Flores did interview with them yesterday. Steeler Freak says, "What about Colin Haley?" Don Haley, come on. Tyrone, yeah, I think TJ give back some bread. That's what I'm saying. Anywhere else, if you go somewhere, and it isn't like it's pennies. Somebody gives you a little extra money, you want to make it. You don't want to walk away without doing the work and being. I don't know. Again, this goes deep. There's a lot of layers on this onion, and the more layers you go, sometimes things stink. It's the way that it is, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Tyrone. No, we got that one. All right, I'm going to stop right there at the 100 message mark of the day, and I will continue back later just so I know where I'm at for my own sanity. Guys, let's get into it. Let's look at some names. Let's name names. That's right, guys. This is the odds. This is the odds right now, according to a Steeler website, one of the official Steeler websites. I can't recall where I seen it, but it was official. And I want to say the Steeler website, but I could be wrong. And if I am, I apologize. This is the odds as of right now. And I know Mike hates this one. And I know he hates this one because he's not really for bloodlines. I like the bloodline. If it wasn't for bloodlines, we don't have JPJ. But number one odds as of right now, and this means absolutely nothing. This is right now, January 14, 1:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Number one odds, 39-year-old defensive coordinator for the Rams, Shula. Chris Shula. Right now, he's at a plus 400. A plus 400. I think it was an official. I don't know what it was. It was something that was official. It seemed like Vegas or whatever. But anyway, 400. A plus 400 for Chris Shula. Number two on the odds list right now. Right now. As of right now. Again, this could change a million times. Also at a plus 400, Brian Flores. Number three on this list at a plus 500, Saleh, the guy that was the coach up in the New York, the Jets. He's at a plus 500. At plus 600, Clint Kubiak. Plus 700, Mike McCarthy. At a plus 1,000, Jeff Hafty, the 40-year-old defensive coordinator. At 1,200, a plus 1,200. These are long shots. Of course, 42-year-old defensive coordinator Jesse Mintner. 1,200. And on the odds list, at a plus 1,500, the longest shot, Salah. I'm sorry about that, Somber. Thank you for correcting me. Mike LaFleur. Mike LaFleur at a plus 1,500. Now, with that being said, let's look at let's put some more names out there. This is the odds I've seen, but we're going to take a look at a plethora of different possibilities. Let's take a look. Let's start now. Let's start right here. These are the head coaches that are vacant, that are looking for jobs. Raheem Morris, he was 8-9 with the Falcons. John Harbaugh, he was 8-9. He was Mike Tomlin's evil twin brother, if you ask me. If you didn't like Tomlin, you're probably not going to enjoy Harbaugh. I'm just saying. He was 8-9. Mike McDaniel, 7-10. Of course, down in Miami. Kevin Stefanski, who also interviewed with Baltimore. He was at 5-12 last season. He's available. Brian DeBall with a 4-13 record is available. Jonathan Gannon, a 3-14 record is available. Pete Carroll, 3-14, he's available. Brian Callahan, 3-14 last season, is also available. Now we're going to look outside the box a little bit here. I know a lot of people like this guy. Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame. This name came up a lot of times while people were trying to convince each other that Tomlin was this, Tomlin was that, Tomlin the other. Marcus Freeman could be a nice young coach that you could have for a long time. Just saying. Let's see who else. The one that made me laugh the most, Arthur Smith. Of course, I guess he's an option, but I don't want to see that face for the next 20 years. Come on. a couple outside. Or no, here we go. Nate Schellenhaus. Nate, what is it? Nate Schillhaus. Haas. That might actually be a good Steeler name. A good Steeler, a good Pittsburghese, a Haas in there at the end, and also Clint Kingsbury, of course, and two of these gentlemen right here. They popped up out of the crazy talk, but you know what? You can't say that they're not possibilities. Some people lobbying for Antoine Randall. Of course, the former Super Bowl champion here with us, the wide receiver, came out of Indiana as a quarterback, finished his career with 41 touchdowns on the ground, 41 touchdowns through the air in Indiana, came in and became a big part of our Super Bowl champion guys, our Super Bowl champion team. Antoine Randall is in the coaching field. Again, just to kind of outside the box, somebody relatable. Big Ben Roethlisberger not only says this, he didn't say that he had interest in being the coach, but he did say that he will be he'll advise and help the hiring of the new head coach. He's offering up his help for that. And again, I think that's kind of a long shot there. That's kind of a Pittsburgh's dream. I mean, there's no indication that Big Ben Roethlisberger would could do a good job. We have no idea. The guy's a quarterback, and he hasn't done any coaching since. But that's about almost 20 names. If anybody that I missed, it pops in your mind that you think is a possibility or even an interesting conversation, throw it up on the board. But that seems to be the field right now. That's the pool of coaches, possible coaches, coordinators moving on, and everything else in between. Again, guys, if you have any people, again, maybe somebody I missed, or as I said, even somebody that you think might be a good head coach, guys, throw it up on the board. Very interested to see what everybody has to say today. Again, so many different names, so many players are going to be moving around the league this year. We're about 9. I think 9 teams are looking for head coaches as we speak. And the draft, again, only 99 days away right here in Pittsburgh, the 2026 NFL draft. It's going to be here before you know it, everybody. All right. Where do we want to go next? You know what I want to do? Let's talk. I'm going to take this moment. I'm going to just take the moment, and I'm going to look at Tomlin's career just momentarily. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and get teary-eyed about Tomlin all day. Coach Tomlin, I'm sorry. But let's take a look at how his career numbers did play out. We'll take a minute to look at that, guys. And again, we will continue to move on. Again, a lot of things to get into as the offseason started. Unfortunately, Monday night for the Steelers. And there's a lot of things to get into. And for whatever reason, I'm having a hard time getting to where I want to get to now. But I'm going to get there. I want to just take a look at what Coach T has done. And again, it's going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to talk about some of the things that weren't so great to talk about. But at the end of the day, guys, I think it all deserves our attention because this is our coach for the past 20 years. 50 years from now, when you're telling your grandkids or whatever the case may be, you're going to have to tell them about Coach T, and you're going to probably say he was a successful coach. And he got a lot of wins. He never had a losing season. And when you're arguing from somebody from another city or another team, you're probably going to say the same thing. And you're going to stick up for him. And it's just, Steeler Nation is Steeler Nation. It is what it is. And unfortunately, everything can't go the way we want, I guess, guys. All right, I think I'm close to finding what I was looking for here. If I can, I will. But I was going to give you some numbers here. Okay, so this popped up, and these are some of the reasons that I think might have been a good argument against Coach. And again, this is no disrespect. This is Tomlin. A lot of Coach Tomlin today, guys. Mike Tomlin since 2017. We're just going to talk about this little losing streak and probably why this ultimately went the way that it did. He had the longest playoff losing streak by any NFL Super Bowl winning coach. No Super Bowl coach ever went on a 7-game losing streak in the playoffs. Never. Worst career playoff winning percentage of a Super Bowl coach at 4.400. He's the worst. No Super Bowl winning coach ever had a playoff record at 400. 9 straight seasons without a playoff win. We know that that's an NFL record of making it to the playoffs and not getting it. 7 double-digit playoff losses. That is an NFL record. 7 double-digit playoff losses is, in fact, an NFL record. 5 consecutive home playoff losses. That's a record. Of course, every game that we played just recently wasn't at home, but if you go back, they were 5 consecutive home playoff losses. 5 straight double-digit losses. That's an NFL record. And one last one, worst home playoff loss in Steeler history. We just experienced it Monday night on the 30-6 final. That was the worst home Steeler loss in playoff history for the Steelers. So again, zoom out. It's a business. It's a big business. They make a lot of money. You have to make big boy decisions. And this was a big boy decision. Because when your clientele is calling for something because things aren't right, because it's not successful, maybe sometimes your voice will be heard. I think that this is a good example of that, guys, as he's become stale in time here with the Pittsburgh Steelers, has become stale with him. Very similar to the time of Chuck Noll. Yes, Coach Cowher didn't win the Super Bowl after, or I think he might have even won 500 the year after the Super Bowl, but he kind of went out on top. Unfortunately, the first and third, not so much, but that's just the way that breaks down. You've got to stay competitive. You have to listen. You have to keep people in your seats, and if those people are calling for a person to be fired, you have to take that. You have to take it seriously. You have 60,000 people paying good money from their hard-earned banks, their pockets. And if they're not satisfied, any business, you have to listen. You have to, especially a business as big, as successful, and it generates as much money as the NFL does. Getting some more. We'll get into the back of the board here shortly. Listen, I had something good too for him. I don't want to make it sound like it's because I'm not. I'm not trying to badmouth Coach. Again, today is not about that, and we're not going to do it. We're not. I promise. If I could just find one more thing here, I could give you some accolades to kind of even that out. But again, that's why it went the way that it did. It wasn't anything else. This was a business decision. This was a big boy business decision that happens regularly in this business for people that are a lot. I don't know. Let me see if I can pull this up because I do. I have some good stuff too. Believe me. This is for Coach T. We're going to take a look at some of the accolades of the gentleman. Here we go. He had a regular season record of 193, 114, and 2. That's a great record. Absolutely. A lot of this falls into the what have you done for me lately? It truly does. Can we live on the name of players? Should you keep a guy around till he's old and pay him a bunch of money, even if he's not producing, just because we like the name? Cam? TJ? Again, TJ, listen, it's debatable and it's going to be coming up, certainly here on the show. But he makes a lot of money. Does his results equal that money to you? $41 million well spent this year? I don't know. Right, so that is tied franchise win leader, of course, with Coach Noll. Coach Tomlin also has a 62.9 winning percentage, which is the best out of the three. Coach Tomlin, 62.9, Coach Cowher, 62.3, and Coach Noll, 56.6. Again, if he leaves early and they would have made a business decision because he got stale, his numbers might be a little bit more inflated. It's just the way that it plays out. Playoff records, Coach Tomlin, 8-12. Bill Cowher, 12-9. And Chuck Noll, 16-8. Playoff winning percentage, Coach Tomlin, 40. Coach Cowher, 57.1. Coach Noll, 66.7. Super Bowls, of course, Coach T went 1 for 1. Coach Cowher goes 1 for 1. And Chuck Noll, 4-0. And, in the big footnote here, he never had a losing season. It's something. The fact that he never backed it up with playoff success is a whole nother thing. But give credit where credit is due. Nobody's ever done it. That's a good thing. So at the end of the day, he will be a Steelers coach. He will be the Steelers coach for the rest of your lives. So like it or not, guys, just as you talk about the other coaches that preceded him, he will always be in the conversation as we talk about our Pittsburgh Steelers, and rightfully so. He deserved it. Lindsay said this: we aren't winning for 10 years because of Tomlin is gone. Come the F on. I would get back to the board here just a minute. Here are some of the. I don't want to get into the quarterbacks just yet. We're gonna wait here just a little bit longer to get into quarterbacks because again we don't know who our quarterback is going to be. We don't know who our coach is going to be. We don't know who our quarterback is going to be. I have a bunch of names here for possibilities as far as free agency goes around the league. But I do want to say this: this has been, guys, and it's going to be the year of change in Pittsburgh. As the Penguins got stale, they fired Mike Sullivan. He just won back-to-back Stanley Cups in 16 and 17. He got stale, short period of time. Guess what? Business is business. You're gone. Mike Sullivan gone. They hired a new guy. The Pirates are a little bit different of a beast. They fired their guy this year. Steelers going with the new guy. So again, this is the year of change. Maybe a Pittsburgh team could win a playoff game this year. maybe it's not out of the question. Of course, the Penguins haven't won a playoff series in 3 years. Pirates haven't won since 2013 or 14 or 15. And the Steelers, of course, now going on 10 years. Maybe this change was warranted, guys, in all of our sports here in Pittsburgh, as every team makes big boy decisions to try to improve their organization. They do it. Listen, when you don't fire somebody because you don't think they think that there's going to be change for the better. And you know what? As a fan, I hope that you're for that. I hope that you're for making the team better. Let me take a look here at a couple more things. And I do want to get back on to the terrible board. Let's see. I was going to save this till the end of the show. But as we do, right here, and I'm going to get into quarterback shortly because, again, that's another big question mark. What's your favorite? Put your favorite Mike Tomlin moment on the board. And let's be serious, guys. I know everyone likes to talk and everyone wants to, I like to say funny things every now and then. But what's your favorite Mike Tomlin moment? To be honest, you have 19 years to choose from. There has to be something in there. Love him, hate him, whatever the case may be. For the sake of the show today and what we're going to do, and again, for the respect of the guy that that headed the ship for almost 2 decades, throw your favorite Mike Tomlin, Coach Tomlin, I'm sorry, comment up on the terrible board. I'm going to give you mine right now because it's funny. I liked that game against the Ravens when dude was running that return back and Coach Tomlin was standing with his foot on the field. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it was an accident. I don't know what the hell he was doing. But I got to be honest, when I think of Coach Tomlin, and again, that's not his biggest accomplishment by any means. I love the Super Bowl win. But if I have to pick a moment that I can always go back and say I like that. That was my favorite. I liked when he had his leg on the field against the Ravens. I thought it was funny, similar to the way that Cowher ran over to the officials and shoved the replay thing in his pocket. It's just one of the moments I'll always remember. And again, it's something that, again, I think that we should always keep in mind because, again, he's a big part of your franchise now and has been for quite some time. And that's not going to change anytime soon, believe me. So let's stay on the board here. I want to get into some more. Just double check, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. All right, I think we're caught up. Let's get back on the board here. I got to go back and find the 100 message mark, which I don't even know if it's on my screen anymore because this thing has moved so much on me. But we're going to try to do what we can do with it, the best that we can do with it. So here we go, guys. Lindsay says Pittsburgh is not spoiled. I disagree. It's not spoiled. You spoiled for wanting to be the best. Are the Yankees spoiled? Is New York spoiled for wanting to put a competitive baseball team on the field every year and win a ring? No. Is the Lakers spoiled because they won a championship so bad they have to go out and get a LeBron? I just the spoiled thing is kind of ridiculous. You want your team to do well. How is that being spoiled? So I agree with you on that one, Lindsay. TC said this: people were not patient. They want to. Well, I mean, 10 years of not winning a game in postseason is kind of patient. I'm not, and I love you, TC. I do, and I love you, and I love talking with you, and I respect you. But again, isn't 10 years without a win in the postseason? Isn't that being patient? And again, people got fired for less. What have you done for me lately is a big thing. And the Penguins won back-to-back Stanley Cups in 16-17. Guess what? Their dude's fired. Gone. So it might, and as this thing does keep moving, I'm unfortunately missed some messages, and I apologize. I have to figure out a solution for this. I have to figure it out, how to not get this board to move on me all the time. Steel Menace 053. What up? What up? What up? Always great seeing new faces on the board. I want to say welcome to you. He says, appreciate Coach T. Wish him all the best. It was just time. It was just time. There's no hate. Regardless of what some people, again, nothing is 100% across the board. Believe me. I'm sure there is hate. I'm not for it, but it's there. And again, it's not the reason that things went the way that it did. I could give you 10 years of documentation to show you why. It was not that. And again, so what the people in the business are race, I mean, come on. Come on. Guys, this is, what have you done for me lately? And the lack of playoff success, the lack of success in January is what got us where we are. It is. Prove me wrong. Steeler Freak says this, the patch work BS over the Hill roster, couldn't pull it off. I assume Tomlin went in all this year and doesn't want to be a part of the rebuild and responsible for a young QB and a team going 3-14. And here's another thing. People talk about this losing season like it's a bad. Let's just say let's say we have 7 wins, and that gets us 5 spots on a draft pick. And that's not the worst thing in the world ever, or either. Let's say you go 7-10 and get a 5 draft picks better, or go 10-7 and lose in January again in the first round. At some point, something's got to give. Something has got to give somewhere. It was kind of, getting stale. That's just the way that I'm going to put it. I unfortunately can't see the rest of TC's calm. Pittsburgh is definitely spoiled. We'll see how long you can handle losing like the Browns. Well, it hasn't happened yet. Matter of fact, it hasn't happened since 1987, with the exception of 1 year, a few years back. But again, your opinion is respected. Donald says this. Glad Art Rooney II said he's going to look outside the organization for our next head coach. Me too. Who would you want from this cluster? I certainly don't want anybody from this cluster F. Tortilla, we were planning for Manning, the big move there, but some people don't like it. Again, they don't like the bloodline. I'm a bloodline guy. Again, if you didn't have bloodlines, you probably wouldn't have Joey Porter right now and on the Steelers. You probably wouldn't. It just so happens he falls to the second round. I like a good bloodline if it's a good one. Let's move on. Han TV 340. I do want to say welcome to Han TV. Says Steelers fans will be upset when we finish with 5 wins next season, the year after. Let's see. We don't know. Again, I'm telling you what was going on wasn't making people happy. We haven't experienced the other side of the coin yet. So for everybody saying that everybody's going to be so this, we don't know. If it helps us get higher draft picks, again, this is uncharted water for us. By all means, give us higher draft picks if things don't work out our way. Everything doesn't work out your way all the time. And I think the people that think that is spoiled. It should just continue because things were just working out. 500 records, never lose. You don't want to take the risk to get better. That's kind of a sense of spoiledness as well, in my opinion. Roger says this, Tomlin wouldn't coach the Ravens if that was the only job in the world. Lindsay says Pittsburgh is far from the Browns. You're absolutely far from the Browns organization. Tortilla says Daddy Manning won a Super Bowl too. And absolutely. All the Manning quarterbacks are good. Even the dumb-looking one, Eli, he beat a team that we couldn't beat over and over and over. He did it twice. Just saying, bloodlines or something. A lot of times, yes, Randy Moss's son's not a superstar. Again, everything is not 100% across the board. Got to use your discretion at some point. Mark Malone says, I highly doubt if anyone will give up more than a 7th rounder for him. Steeler Menace saying this, comparing Pittsburgh to Cleveland is like comparing gold to shit. I couldn't agree with you more. That's such it's not a good comparison, in my opinion. Han TV says TG plays 40% of the defensive snaps and is the highest played. Don't even get me started on that guy. It's not his day. That's all I'm going to say. It's not his day. I will get into him plenty, as I think that conversation deserves to be had as well. P says Peyton was in Denver with the range of motion of RoboCop. Lindsay says literally Steel Menace Tortilla. The new Manning can run can run. He'll be like a master chef. Sly Smooth, whoever the new coach is, will be. They'll need to be a Yinzer ASAP. Chief Tortilla. John Steeler Freak says Arch is staying another year. He needs more college to play and getting $7 million to do. That's what I'm saying. Arch Manning isn't even coming out in draft, guys. That was an interest of ours certainly along the way, but he's getting paid way too much money in college. And again, he already made the decision to stay in college. TC, listen, Pittsburgh will be at the bottom. You know what? It'll be the first time in 45 years if it does happen. If it happens, it happens. It's only, again, 45 years. When was the last time the Steelers finished in last place? And if it happens in a rebuild and it's going to ultimately make things better, let me ask you, and again, you may not, and I'm not talking down at anybody. Have you ever owned a business? You always take a hit at first. Always. You always take a hit. Let's say you go to the local gas station, you want to buy it, and you take your money and you give them your money to buy the business. You ultimately are going to take a big hit probably for about 5 years before you make money. So in anything in life, this is going to be a process, and we may take a hit, and it is what it is. And to say that we can't take a single hit, that is being spoiled. Pittsburgh can't go under 500. That's being spoiled. Not wanting to take a risk to change for better, in my opinion, just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You're not beating the Ravens, Bengals, and Browns. We'll see. Again, a lot of speculation being on the board. We have to find these things out. We don't know. Again, everybody beats the Bengals and the Browns, but we will see. Tyrone says, don't rush it. Pick the right. Exactly. You have to pick the right guy. That's the point. Do this smart. You can't do this on emotion. You can't. Anything in life, don't do it on emotion because you're going to F it up. Believe me. This has to be well thought out. You have to look at every option, every possibility, because again, this guy's going to be more than likely in your organization for a long time. Steel Menace says DK, not a wide receiver one, more like I agree. From what I seen from him last year, he could have been a good high and wide receiver too for an offense with George Pickens on it. That would have been a nice receiving core. But again, we learned a lot about it, DK, and we have him tied into a contract. So again, that's another conversation for another day. Lindsay says, okay, that sounds dumb. We at least split with AFC every year because Tomlin plays on the field. Steeler Freak says this at 69, bottom of the North or 30-6, ass slapping. That's what I'm saying. The bottom of the North is probably going to result in, it's going to yield you better results because we're moving in the right direction. We're not staying still, and we're not going to lose again in January in the first week. I'm not saying that that's not going to happen. I'm just saying we're making the required steps to make things better. How is that bad? Or we could continue to do 500 and one and done. That's why the customer is upset. That's why the customer is being spoiled. Do you not want better in your life? Do you not want better for your family? Would you do something to make your family better if it for a second in your life, a short period of time, made you had to sacrifice? Of course you would. Otherwise, everything is easy and everybody is successful. And guess what? That's just not reality. Lindsay says she's done talking. No, Lindsay. I love hearing your voice. I love reading your voice. Don't stop talking. Mark Malone, my man, what up, brother? He says this. Yeah, we should get out of that contract. Pronto at Steel Menace. Sly Smooth, hire Indy's owner as the new head coach. She looks like she wants to know the position the way she always sits on the sideline. Yeah. And I am not against the woman head coach either. Tyrone Tallman, good coach. It was Ty. I agree, Ty. Bro, you and I talk a lot on here. And that's exactly where I'm at. No disrespect to the man. None. It's just time to make a change, as every other position on a football team. As they don't get it done, you get a new quarterback. If your center isn't getting it done, you bring in a new center. Why is this any different? How is it any different? Please, with logic, explain to me on the board how that's incorrect. P. Morton, what do you need a wide receiver to if you haven't had a quarterback for 8 years? Ty said this. We need a motherfucking quarterback. I couldn't agree with you more, man. It's all coming. Good point, P. P always got the good points, man. Tyrone, I'm tired of old ass mother effers. Steele, get rid of Queen, Eccles, Duggar, and Clark. Clark was a hammer. Don't get me wrong. The guy dropped more interceptions than anything I've ever seen. But he was a hammer. He could jar the ball out sometimes, and that certainly played in our favor. Mark Malone, we could get out of the Ramsey and DK contracts and be money way ahead. Let's see. TC says you Pittsburgh fans got what you wanted. Now enjoy. Again, that's there's nothing to even prove that argument. TC, nothing. If we were able to do the bare minimum the past 10 years and still maintain a 500 record, again, that's kind of a stretch. We'll see though. We will see. Steel Menace trade Watt, get at least a second. If can't fleece somebody for a first, right? Let's call Chicago. Let's see what they got going on. Jolly Moon says Pat McAfee, next head coach. Nobody's talking about the Watt contract on absolutely nobody, and that will be next. Believe me, I got a lot to say about that Watt contract. $41 million. That's what Patrick Mahomes money, who touches the ball every play, makes plays every play, and is the main decider in wins and losses for his football team. $41 million. Is that did TJ Watt earn $41 million in your opinion? Any guys on the board, love him or hate him, let me know what your opinion is on that. No one knows the right moves. And you're right. That's the thing. Jamal, you're 100% right. If everybody knew the right moves, wouldn't everybody be making all the right moves? It's not going to be an easy process. It was a necessary move that had to be made. And I'd said ample times, if Tomlin was able to pull off a win this year and even get a win in the playoffs, I would have changed my tune. If he would have won a Super Bowl, believe me, Pittsburgh would have mega changed their tune. I don't think you're spoiled for wanting to win. I don't. I think that's let's move on. Black Magic Jamal says this. We're trading Tomlin. Oh, no, it moved on me. Flores won't be the worst choice, but the fans may not take necessary abysmal seasons he's going to have. Field of Steel says, all right, Shula, Kubiak, and Flores. That's Phil's big three hires. Jamal makes sense. P says T least 3 bad seasons. Tyrone, no, they won't do that. Steel Menace says Shula, Flores, and Kubiak. That is who Steel Menace is saying. Salah, thank you again for that correction, Somber. I am not the smartest guy, as I do document it on my sign right here. Mark Malone, that would be awesome. To Jamal, Tyrone, no, they wouldn't do that. They tanked for Mendoza. Signetti, he's a Pittsburgh guy. Let me see what this says. Richard Jan, hey, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Richard Jankowski on the terrible board. He says Kirk Signetti is who I would like to see be the next coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who may be coaching the national championships on Monday night, as him and Mendoza led that team to a great season. We're going to get picks in later on the week to see how we think that's going to play out, and also all the NFL playoffs guys. But Signetti is a Pittsburgh guy. Something that I think Pittsburgh fans and certainly people here in Western PA could get behind on a personal level. But again, does that make it a right decision? No, it doesn't. So don't take what I'm saying wrong. I'm not saying we should hire him because he's a Pittsburgh guy. I'm saying he should certainly be an option. His recent success deserves our attention. Field of Steel, but Danny Shea would bring that one-time attitude. Tortilla says, I like Shola. I kind of do too. I know Mike don't, but I kind of. But you know what? Again, it's still so early. There may be names and options that's going to pop up we never even heard yet that we might love. And, so again, I'm not committing to anybody at this point. Again, it's a big boy move. This is going to be somebody that's going to be here for a long time, more than likely. Tyrone says Flores, Kubiak, Shula. What do you guys think about? Let me move on a little bit more. Just Learning says Jolly Tomlin would get you the trophy for you all. Just Learning, Jolly Tomlin would get the trophy for you all. LOL. Jamal says this: no coach you named is better than the GOAT Mike T. You got to remember though, Jamal, none of our three big were ever head coaches prior to being our head coach. Chuck Noll never head coached a game. Did a pretty decent job, I'd have to say. Bill Cowher never head coached a team. Did pretty well, I guess I'd say, I think. And Coach T never was a head coach. So again, this thing, it's going to take a lot of twists, a lot of turns to figure out what the right move is. This is not an easy call by any means. And if there's anybody overdoing sports media here in Pittsburgh telling you that it is, and this is going to be the person they're BSing you, they're trying to pull you into their show. This is literally day one still, less than 24 hours since Coach Tomlin did step down. Guys, this is going to be, again, historically, all big three coaches were picked by the end of January in their respective seasons of hire. I'm sorry. So a lot can happen in a short period of time, but you better believe everything is going to be, there's going to be no stones left unturned. This is a big move in the Steelers organization. This is going to be, come on, this will be talked about for history through time as we talk about the other big three guys. We do move on. Thielen just retired. Is that true, guys? Bingo, you always do get all the scoop, and I do trust you. But I just want to say, just for confirmation on that, somebody let me know that Adam Thielen just retired. He was a free agent. There was a good chance he probably wasn't going to be back next year. He came in to help us out as the season ended when we had 0 wide receivers, which is insane to me. How you can even let that happen? And that's not even just the head coach. This is GMs and owners alike. How you could go into a season with 1 wide receiver is unbelievably stupid to me, and wonder why your passing offense blows. I don't believe me. I'm not saying the Thielen was no answer, but come on, we were on the wrong path. Aaron Jade says, "Here we go, Steelers." That's right, baby. Here we go, Steelers. My man, always great seeing you on a terrible board. Tortilla, Pittsburgh Steelers hire Arizona's equipment manager as the new head coach. Sly Smooth, Heath Miller is currently coaching down in Virginia somewhere. I got to be honest with you, guys are killing on the board today as well. I'm trying my best to keep up. I don't want to miss a single message. So if I'm missing you, I do apologize. I really am. I really do. Trying my best here. Tyrone, Big Ben as OC. Be cool for real. Bingo, probably going to see a lot of these older 1-year guys retiring in the next couple of years. Steeler Freak, it's better for many to walk before being told to bring in the playbook. Playbook. I'm sorry. P says Big Ben probably can't read, but okay. Somber said, or I'm sorry, Tyrone. Somber, I F with that. You know what? If Hines Ward didn't do such a terrible job in the XFL, I would even kind of facetiously entertain that thought. But again, Hines Ward really blew he shit the bed with that Brahmas team in San Antonio. This might be a little tougher of a job. I'm just saying. Just Learning says Mike McCarthy. Bingo says James Harrison for head coach. TC said Ben had a lot of stuff in his past. He should keep silent. Jamal says we need to replace the owners, not the coaches. I mean, they're all invited. And that's the thing. We can't. Listen, in all fairness, how does that make sense either? And listen, I'm not disagreeing with you, Jamal. But I think a lot of things that are being said right now is out of spite and because they like Coach Tomlin and they're. Let's tighten it up, guys. Listen, we can do this together. Let's get through this together. We'll be even stronger when it's all said and done. The Steeler community will go into the next season and go into the future and win Super Bowls, and we could all celebrate and be happy. And we won't have to do 10 more years of this show and talk about one and done. It's just, in my opinion, things should be moving in the right direction. And again, what have you done for me lately? Has been a very popular theme in life. Certainly in jobs, even more so should be in jobs where you're making millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. You just can't keep giving somebody millions of dollars for no production, for no success, for not getting it done. Why don't I just go to your job? Don't do your job, but say you want more money and don't quit and stay there forever and just do a get the job done and get the job done. You're 500. But when it comes down to crunch time and the job needs you, shit the bed. Don't get it done, but continue to ask for more and more and more and more money and expect them to pay you. I'm just putting it into an analogy. Zoom out a little bit, guys. Again, this isn't the worst. It's not the worst thing ever. It truly isn't. Again, could be very beneficial for your team. If you love the team, it shouldn't be about one guy. And ultimately, again, I think we have 10 years of documentation that shows that it was time. It's stale. Things had to change. He knew things had to change, yet things still were the same. He had Ben Roethlisberger. He had a lot of opportunities. Again, mad respect to Coach T. Brian Pasquale, it's moving on me, Brian. I apologize. And for whatever reason, this board, you know what? It might be able to let me move down right here. Brian Pasquale, Pittsburgh feels like the Venezuela. We have all been liberated. Mark Malone, worse than Marvin Lewis. Well, you know what? He tied Marvin Lewis. We want to talk about all the great things. He actually tied Marvin Lewis for the most first-round losses in NFL history. You got to take the bad with the good. You got to take the bad with the good. If you're going to sit here and tell me all these good things and how we're not going to be good in the future because of what happened, you better talk about all these bad. And I could bring them up again. There's a handful of records that he's actually the worst in NFL history. Tempt me, I'll do it again. I'll bring it up. But we're in all the things that he's actually the worst when it comes to as far as coaching. So again, guys, come on. We got to stick this together. We got to stick it out together. Feel the Steel says, here we go. Steelers, here we go. Steeler Freak says, Coach T has a net worth of about $40 million. He was paid well. There shouldn't be hard feelings or sympathy for him. Ryan's list of unsuccessful records should make it professional. It's not personal. Absolutely. And anybody that thinks it's personal at this point is out of their mind. This was an organizational decision. This isn't the fans spoke their mind. Absolutely. Rightfully so, as you should if you're not satisfied with any business that you're investing in your life. Mike, if you can fix my video, please. Let me move on the board here. Tyrone says he's still living like it's 2008 will be good. Let me move on the board here a little bit. I don't know, and Mike, I don't know what he's doing. You know, sometimes he falls asleep down there. He's in his studio. I went down one day. I was wondering what was going on. He was sleeping. Let's see. TC says this people just talk junk on the man. Let's see how stale he is when you don't win. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, we're not going to win every game. He didn't win every game. So, again, we got it. Guys, you got to zoom out a little bit. You got to. Otherwise, you might never get it. And I feel bad for you because it's truly it's business. It's business is business is business. Unfortunately, football is a business. Mike said he got booted from the broadcast. Can you get back in? Tyrone, if Kenny Pickett could win 10 games, come on. I think we're going to be okay. If Kenny Pickett could win 10 games, I think we're going to be okay. If Kenny Pickett can win 10 games, I think we're going to be okay. We didn't have good – we had Matt Canada as offensive coordinator. No offensive line. I think the Steelers are going to land on their feet. I do think that. Feel the Steel says, damn, feels good to chant, here we go, Steelers, here we go. Let me scoot up a little bit here. I do apologize, guys. I don't want to miss anybody. I don't want to miss anybody on the terrible board because I'm probably an hour behind on comments, and I do apologize for that. You guys are murdering, as always. And again, the big 1,500 milestone yesterday on the show was, again, a milestone. 1,500 comments on the terrible board today. I want to give you a big thank you, guys, as you deserve it on the board. Let me move along. Mike, when you do get in, let me know. I don't know what's going on. He says he got booted from the broadcast. I believe I'm still on, as far as I know. Tortilla says, yeah, might have to be when he was on the field. Because I do see I am far behind. I apologize. Let me try to scoot up a little bit more to be in the same day here at least. Richard says this. Richard says everyone forgets that every coach in Pittsburgh has been told it's time. It was time to move on by fans. Chuck, Bill, Mike. Don't act like Mike was the only coach. Again, yeah, stop with everybody hates Mike. It's fucking stupid. You're obviously not looking at the big picture. You're taking a side and you're going with it, and it's fine if that's your thing. But if you want to understand what's truly going on, by all means, zoom out and smell the roses. Mark Malone, the paranoia of the middle of the field thing made. Come on, we haven't thrown over the middle of the field in 3 seasons. Well, he doesn't throw the ball. Well, you know what? He's in charge. He stamps everything that goes. If it's a success, if it's a failure, put me back on your split screen, Mike. Give me back. My face is disgusting. I don't want to look at myself while I'm talking, please. Go right here. John KC is going to cat in driving the off season, and you better team. Exactly. Kansas City, dude, there's going to be some of these teams that are up and coming. These are going to be some teams we have to compete with. F the Browns. P says 30-6. No, I'll pass for that. He did what he could with what he had to work with. And again, it's consistent for a decade. I just want to make that known. It wasn't just this year. It was through ample quarterbacks, multiple coordinators, both sides of the ball, different GMs. So again, you're going to have to look at the big picture if you're going to try to make an intelligent argument, guys. There's layers. You got to peel back the layers pretty much on everything, but this certainly has layers, and you can't talk about one without the other. Let me move on. I hope we be smart with the picks, Tyrone. And you know what? Damn right. We can't F up the picks. You're right. This is all a big change. We haven't been here, but a couple of times in the history of the Super Bowl era, at least as far with our coaching, things got to be done right from moving forward. At least what we believe is right, and we kind of got to go from there. Our Jack, what up, my man? Great seeing our Jack on the board. He says, "So you're ready to lose for draft?" No. Well, that's kind of a trick question. Let me read the rest of your comment first. Would you have allowed Mike T to lose? No. No. But I'm saying if everybody's right and the new person isn't as successful to start their tenure and doesn't get to a 500 season, I'm okay to get draft picks if that's how it plays out. Absolutely. The fact of the matter is we haven't had a high draft pick in how long, but yet we haven't won a Super Bowl in how long, or even a playoff game for how long. It's that stale, stagnant era that we've been sitting in for 10 years at least. That's what I'm saying. I don't prefer to lose anything. I'll take it if that's the way that it comes. And Mike, if you can hear me, please change my video. Somber says the amount of improvement he showed in just 1 year was notable. I wouldn't mind it depending on his play last season. I don't know who you guys are talking about there. Steeler Freak. John says, I haven't felt spoiled since 2009. Don't you have to be winning to feel spoiled? Shouldn't you be somewhat successful? I don't know, in my opinion. Come on. There, Rashad Ali, what's up? Screw a high draft pick if they think fans are mad with the wild card team. Exits and this board. I'm having terrible issues on my end. Mike, please change my video. And I'm having issues with this board. Screw a high draft pick if they think fans are mad with the wild card playoff exits. The world will be terrified when we're 4-12. Again, there's no indication that's going to happen. Didn't Tomlin step in and do a great job when Bill Cowher walked away? You could have said the same thing. Well, when Cowher stinks, or Tomlin stinks. So again, a lot of speculation. A lot of people saying we're going to be bad. I don't see anything that even remotely indicates that we could be possibly worse than Cleveland moving forward. I just don't. There's nothing over the past 45 years shows me that that's even the case. Cody, what's up, bro? Always great seeing Cody on board. He says this: JPJ cut off his hands and gave him to DK Metcalf. Maybe he's borrowing Ike's because JPJ still has his hands. There we go. Hey, man, the old Isaacs 443. Love my Steelers. I just despise the Patriots fans. Can't stand them. We would have to face them if we would pass Houston. Steeler Freak. When was the Saints rookie quarterback drafted? 50 something, I think. Shuck. And try to look for a few names that I might have been missing along the way. Somber, I had Shuck as my third quarterback over Dart. Mark Malone. I hope Jamal is right about the Raiders giving up their first this year for Coach Tomlin. Would you do that, guys? Would you trade away Tomlin for the number 1 draft pick overall this year? Mike, just fix my screen. That's all I care about. I'm not even going to ask you about anything else. If you can hear me, please just fix my screen. What do you think? Would you trade Tomlin to the Raiders for the number 1 overall pick? That's a great question. Compliments of Jamal. P says even TJ was like, I can feel where my cartilage used to be. Right. Let's see. Hot Wangs. I do want to say Hot Wangs. Welcome back to the terrible board. Great seeing you. Rashid sounds like a bunch of losers celebrating a downgrade. I'm not celebrating a decade of at least. No, it was a decade of losing. Otherwise, if you do nothing in January, what's the purpose of everything else? Are you a good football team? No, you're not one of the better football teams if you don't win in January in a decade. You sound like a loser, my friend. Corey says this: we make the sacrifice to lose with our kids and our wives every day to make money to provide for them long term. I'm about that. 7 years on that. Absolutely. Grow up, learn what life is like before you make some dopey comments. Mark Malone says the new coach gave Magnum PI a Magnum PI fan. You never know. P said she screams, "Let me get a bump, dog." I'm here for it though. Jeremy Olson, what's up? Welcome back to the Terrible Board. Always great seeing you, Jeremy. He says, I'm rooting for John Gruden. There's another name. I'm not necessarily a fan of John Gruden, and I really don't want him here. But at the end of the day, that is certainly another name. Let's scoot up. And then I'm going to get into some quarterbacks here briefly, guys. I know everybody's hating and loving and having the – and again, my main goal is to keep it neutral today. Talk and respect the coach that's been here for 2 decades, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. Jamal says Watt can get the step, and I agree. Thank you, Mike. Tortilla says I'd rather suck and snag a Manning next year. Come on. What's one? You're not spoiled for never wanting to have a losing season. That's being spoiled. Well, yes, we want to win all the time. Yes, we want to at least be 500. Well, guess what? You're throwing a big fit because we're trying to make it better. And if it has to take a bump, as every business move does, and you don't like that, and that's a problem, you're spoiled. Tortilla, okay, got that. Also, Tortilla said the Mannings haven't missed yet. You're right, none of them have. Despite everything everyone's saying about this dude in Texas, Arch, every single Manning quarterback, it's a good bloodline, in my opinion, to be involved with. Other people would agree, and I respect that. But again, there hasn't been a Manning that showed me that they weren't worth it. RB says, don't tell me to shut up. I don't tell you to shut up. Tomlin is a fucking joke of a coach. I'm not sure who that was to. I hope it wasn't me. If it was me, I apologize. I don't think I told you to shut up. I wouldn't do that to RB. Also, Kenny, I'm sorry, Jamal says, Kenny baby hands from Pitt. You see how exactly you got to move on from things that ain't working. Now we're all getting the picture. As long as we can get on the same page, we're going to be fine. We had to move on from Kenny. It wasn't working. We had to move on from Matt Canada. It wasn't working. Did Kenny do good things? Yes. Guess what? Kenny got a 10-7 record. But it just wasn't right, guys. It wasn't working. We had to move on. Why does that change when you're talking about one individual and not another? It makes you wonder. Is all I got to say. Jeremy says Ryan Day would be okay. Also, Ohio State coach. Somber says, how is it not desirable? Job security. You get to pick your offensive coordinator, your defensive coordinator. You get to pick your quarterback. Very desirable, in my opinion. And again, you're going to be here for a long time if you do get this job. Let me scoot up a little bit here. And again, I'm going to get into quarterbacks in just a moment. Field of Steel and Lindsay are on the same page, and I don't know. I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't think that Coach Tomlin just resigned. I think it was a whole loop change here. I got Field of Steel getting along with everybody. Lindsay agreeing. Always great with these guys on the board. Phil says, Lindsay, these Watt haters don't understand. It's his Steeler for life contract. And she agrees. Also, Cody says, and my man Cody, always great seeing Cody. Cody says, I think I'd like to see Charlie Sheen as the next coach, and he would smoke cigars on the sideline and have hookers in the locker room. Then we all win. Right? Sign Jameis Winston for a 3-year to go 3-14. There you go. Jeremy, we're signing AJ Brown. AJ Brown is out there, and you know what? There's rumors that the Ravens are trying to get him. So don't you think they're all having these same conversations in Baltimore? And when you look at it from the outside as a pervasive stance, you can see why it makes sense, the decision they made in Baltimore. I don't think that this is much different. I don't. Again, step outside and look at the bigger picture. Maybe not. Maybe it won't ring in, but that's just my advice. Let's move on. Somebody's getting offensive. I don't know who's getting offensive. Let's go here. Somber says, fuck it, hire Hines for the culture. I don't know what that means, but Steeler Freak says Ryan must send Derpy to speed reading school. I can't get Derpy to show up for this show. Hines Ward, Big Ben, and Debo, offense, defense, and head coach. Miss Pittsburgh, good afternoon, everybody. Here we go. I made it. Had to run some errands this morning, but I am here. Good afternoon, Steelers Nation. Always great to see Miss Pittsburgh on the terrible board. Sly Smooth, he says this. Maybe the new regime would actually utilize TJ properly. So maybe. And again, that sounds like a coaching issue to me, but you can't argue 500, baby. Field of Steel, Paul Amalu, head coach, Debo, defensive coordinator, Big Ben, offensive coordinator. Steeler Freaks says bring in Ben, Hines, Debo, Kirkland, Blunt, Paul Amalu, Green, and Faneca for the coaching staff dream team. I'm going to move up a little bit. I mean, I do think I'm moving closer. I do think I'm getting closer to where I need to be as far as being updated on the board, and that's what I'm trying to do. I apologize again. I will see all your messages. I will read them all today at some point, but you guys are killing it again, and that's a good thing. Thank you. Once again on the board. Tyrone says Steelers first interview head coach. How do you pronounce that name? Schilhaus? Because I got to be honest with you. Don't let Yinzers see that name come up first. Once they see the word Haas, it's awfully close to Pittsburghese. Maybe interview him later. I don't want people to get hung up on a name. That would be crazy. Let's see, Cody said, feeling we're going to talk about Mike Tomlin all offseason. We're not. Today's the big day. Yesterday, today, maybe tomorrow. And then again, there's going to be a new coach. And if any history indicates it is correct, it's going to be very soon. Chuck Noll was hired on January 27th, 1969. Coach Cowher was hired on January 21st, 1992. Mike Tomlin was hired January 22nd, 2007. It's January, guys. So again, I think that we're not going to, and again, you can talk about whatever you want. Come here, talk about Tomlin. That's fine. Coach Tomlin, I'm sorry. Because it's all Steeler talk, baby. But I think once we get some new energy, some new blood, some new energy, some new vibe, new coach, new quarterback, new system, we're going to be excited. It's going to be excitable, as we were excited when we got Russell Wilson and thought we were going to have a better season. Guess what? 10-7 was very standard for the Steelers. Kenny Pickett went 10-7. And then we got excited with Aaron Rodgers. So you don't think we're going to get excited about something new, something fresh, something to get behind, something to believe that, maybe we could win in postseason? Of course we'll be excited. Of course we'll move on. Listen, business is business, people. The NFL is a business. And again, you got to keep your clientele happy. You have to, like any other business, or you fail. In 10 years, I think is an ample period of time to prove the point. Cleveland spent 2 decades letting crackheads draft crackheads to make friends. Cody, what's up, Mike? Penn State Warrior in the house, big baby. Talked a little bit about Joey Porter earlier today. Again, I'm a bloodline guy. Mike's not a bloodline guy, but my bloodline philosophy got us his guy from Penn State. So we'll have that again. There's a second coming. I'm just saying. I'm not giving too much information out. You just have to watch for the signs, as they say, for this second coming, guys. Mike has been off for a while. Took a little hiatus. Was on a hiatus, but he has a lot to say. So just keep that in mind, guys. Keep your eye open for the second coming. Steeler Freak. Let me try to grab a couple different names. Listen, I value everybody, but again, I don't want to seem like I'm only going with certain names because I'm not doing that. RB says 3 days ago I would have give Vegas number 21 to take Tomlin. Sly Smooth, I would take that trade, and it would be definitely make the head coaching job more lucrative. Absolutely, guys. What do you think? What do you think? Trading off Tomlin to the Raiders for the number 1 spot? That's, to me, well, for one, Tomlin's already on the move. So if you don't think that's a good move, I have to question you. I really do. Don't you want to? If we could get a number 1 pick and send him to send Coach T to the Raiders, that could be the best case scenario for the Steelers. Bingo said absolutely would trade him to the Raiders for any pick out of the division, and he's gone anyway. Jollymon, my man, Jollymon. He says this. Hey, good news. Nick Carter's coming to Steel City. LOL. Jeremy says this. He's going to ESPN for a year. It's possible. There's rumored to have been talks of things going on with the media. Maybe he steps away for a season. Who knows? But we could certainly benefit it if it happens in the next year. And again, if they're going to do something like this, I have Jollymon. Raiders wouldn't be dumb as E and do that. You know what they might be? Are they in any position to they ain't got much leverage. The only thing they have is a number 1 pick, and I got to be honest with you, what's that 1 pick going to do for that Raiders team? It's not going to do anything. You thought Ashton Genty was going to make a big deal, a big a change. Picking him high is the Raider running back. He didn't even have as good as a rookie season as Najee Harris did here. So again, it's the Raiders. They are a lot further away from where they want to be than where we are from where we want to be. Way further, way further. This is a team that the drop of a hat can lose a lot of games in any season. And again, we haven't done it for 60 years. Yes, there's some bad because again, there's nothing is 100%. You're going to have loses. You're going to have losses, guys. But again, we've done pretty well, this organization, over a very long period of time. Matter of fact, more than anybody else in the league. So I think I'm going to trust the process on this one. Mark Malone says, yeah, but Arch is just a cousin. I know. But you know what? He really pulled it together. He looked good this year. He looked bad early, but I brought it together. Won some big games for Texas, certainly down the stretch. Bingo says Arch Manning will have about as much success in the NFL as Colt McCoy. Steel Menace says hopefully draft a day 2 and a quarterback and let them compete with Will Howard for the job. Tortilla says, yeah, for real, Raiders aren't that dumb. You use the first overall pick to attract good but again, a team that's just consistently been – this team hasn't done anything. They was in the Super Bowl in 2002 in the blowout against Tampa Bay. Don't you think they would love to have a Coach Tomlin? Don't you think they would love to be 500 every year? I mean, the mirage that you have of possibly being 500 every year. Maybe the Raiders might look at that as a more lucrative decision than again, what did Ashton Genty do for that team last year? I heard he was going to do great things coming out of college. Unstoppable. Playoffs. Boise State. The whole 9. How'd that work out? Maybe the Raiders are due for a good decision for once in their organization. Just saying. And again, there you go. I'm saying Mike Tomlin's a good decision. So do what you want with that. Can't ride both sides of the fence, guys. P says Arch is a nephew from the side of the family that can't scramble. I didn't know there was a side that can scramble. Whammy for Manning. Tortilla. Sly Smooth says, now that Herb and MT are gone, where does my hatred for the Ravens go? P says couldn't probably win 7-8 games with Jameis. You know what? Jameis goes out and has this crazy, weird success. He does. Jameis Winston has this crazy, weird success. I wouldn't want to build my team around him, but I wouldn't mind taking it for a ride. See what he could do. Jameis Winston goes out there and gets shit done. Again, I don't know if it's such a great long-term plan, but if we went on a ride with him as we've done for the past 5 years with different quarterbacks, I don't think we would be upset with Jameis Winston. The guy, come on. He has this weird success, and you know what? I'm there for it. Steeler Freak says this. Don't worry about mock draft. 1 of 1,000. I know. I listen, I'm not a mock draft guy. Mike likes the mock draft. I think they're absolutely useless. Because again, let's just say your draft, your mock draft, if the first 3 guys don't match, it F's up the whole thing. And again, I don't see the purpose. I think but that's just my opinion. Please, if you love mock drafts, by all means, continue. Tyrone says no on Jameis Winston. I'm done with old. And again, that's a good argument. The age on the players. So I totally understand that as well. We grab a couple more guys. We're going to get into some of this quarterback information as we do have more than likely a vacancy there as well. Guys, this is the year of change for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, the wheels are in motion. Let me grab 2 more. I'm going to take 2 more. I'm going to take 2 random messages, and then we're going to get into some quarterback talk as we round third on the show right here. Tortilla, yeah, if you still got to sign or draft a guy, just going to have Rudolph or Howard. Listen to these guys. I'm going to give you some names, though, shortly. Let me grab one more. Right here. G-Skin. G-Skin, welcome to the Terrible Board. Glad to have you. Great to see you. This is what G-Skin's 5750 says. Did someone really say John Gruden? 45 and 51 after winning the Super Bowl, barely 500. Right, I am not. Believe me, I am nowhere in the interest of John Gruden. But you will hear that name coming up with many other names, certainly over this next week, guys. A lot of talk in this department. No two ways about this, guys. Let's talk about some a few other things here. As again, we are rounding third on the show today. This is your free agents that are out there looking to be signed of notable quarterbacks around the NFL. If you're interested, I think we missed out. I would have certainly spent money on Sam Darnold. In my opinion, the only quarterback that ever won back-to-back 14-game seasons beside Tom Brady. And again, I watched him from early on in his career. He didn't look bad on those bad teams. When he got the teams where there was people around him, I didn't mind Sam Darnold. I would have paid Sam Darnold. We didn't. I'm fine with it. Let's look at some other free agency names, guys. These people are looking for jobs this offseason. Tua is looking for a job, guys. From Miami, of course. Kirk Cousins. This name seems to come up every year. Kirk Cousins. He's going to be looking for work. I don't know. And again, you're trying to get away from older players. I wouldn't lean that direction. Also available. What else? Kyler Murray. Now, this is a name. Oh, Lindsay. And the moment I'm looking up, I can see Lindsay's message right in front of me. It says, no Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray from Arizona. Of course, this name comes up every year in the offseason as well. Danny Dimes. Anybody sold on Danny Dimes last year? Malik Willis. At the end of the season, people got a nice look at Malik Willis. I didn't like him early on. However, after seeing his progression, I don't hate Malik Willis. I don't know if I'm building my organization around him in my future, but he is certainly going to be talked about moving forward. What about anybody in-house? Is there anybody in-house that you would be remotely interested in? Anybody? I listen. I'm ready for Arthur Smith to be gone. Is there anybody? I'm sorry, in-house for quarterbacks. that was just me being stuck on head coaches. Anybody in-house as far as quarterbacks? I mean, Will Howard, guys. Would we be willing to roll the dice with that? Again, having him compete with Mason's one thing, but I don't think Mason should be a big part of the big picture moving forward. He's a career third-string quarterback. Yes, he's come in as a second-string quarterback and won a few games in his time. I don't know, John. I just heard that he was available. Maybe because of the injury. I don't know if that effed up his contract or not. Danny Dimes. What about in-house? We had Will Howard, who had no chance at all to prepare. We had no chance to even see him last season. He broke his hand in preseason. He didn't play not one snap in preseason. Wasn't even available for most of the year. When he was available, he didn't get any options. Should we roll the dice and see what he has? Tyrone saying Will Howard on the board. But again, we're making big boy moves now, guys. This isn't trying to put a patch on things till next season. This isn't kicking the can down the road. The decisions that are made by the Steelers in these next 90 days is going to affect the way that your team is for probably the next decade. With the draft coming, re-signing, letting people go, promoting people, whatever the case may be, this is a huge 90-day period for your Pittsburgh Steelers, guys. It's going to be as big as any that I've ever seen. It truly is, and we'll be here for all of it. All of it. I thought I had a little bit more by the way of quarterbacks, but listen. I got a couple more things. Let's get into it. As again, we are kind of at that time of the show, unfortunately. We're gonna do picks at the end of the week, and I want to get college picks. Of course, we're going to figure out who everybody wants and thinks is going to win the national championship on Monday night. We're going to do that. A couple random notes from around the league. CJ Stroud, if you're talking Texas football. And listen, I know we're catching a lot of heat from Dallas fans because we kind of look like things are. We've had that look for quite a few years. We got to start pulling it together. But anyway, Texas. If you're in Texas, CJ Stroud 3 playoff wins versus Dak Prescott's 2 playoff wins. Guys, say what you want about the possible MVP Dak Prescott, but down in Texas, CJ Stroud 3 playoff wins, and of course Dak Prescott 2. I'm going to jump right to this briefly. We're going to talk about this week's playoff this lineup. We're going to get to the daily trivia. So much more. A lot of stuff still to go, guys. Stick around as we are rounding third base. I'm going to pull up this week's schedule. We're going to look at what the teams look like again tomorrow or Friday. I don't know which just yet. We are going to get our picks in. That's not going to change. Let's take a quick look at what the schedule looks like for the weekend, guys, as we do head into the divisional round of the NFL playoffs for the 2025 football season. Guys, 4:30, the 4:30 game on Saturday is the Buffalo Bills at Denver. This game has potential to be a really good game. That Denver defense ain't no joke. Second-year guy Bo Nix on the offense, they're getting enough done. They're playing well. But then again, Josh Allen, say what you want, it's a bad year. They still managed to go 12-5 on a bad year. I'm not going to put it by Josh Allen just yet to run the table. That's just my opinion. With Patrick Mahomes not being present in the bracket, I think that it's more of a possibility than ever for Josh Allen to continue to move on in the playoffs. The second game on Saturday, that's an 8 o'clock game Saturday night between San Francisco and Seattle, a division game. I mean, the game at the end of the year between these two teams came down to 13-3, I think it was, as Seattle only let up 3 points to the San Francisco here in the rematch, guys. In Seattle this time is the 8 o'clock game for the NFC divisional round. And on Sunday, I got to be honest, I'm looking at these. These are all going to be great games. Sunday, the early game, 3 o'clock start is the Texans at the Patriots. Who do you guys got winning that one? The Texans don't necessarily have a good offense. We made them look good last week. They don't run the ball well. They managed to run against us. But that defense, it's devastating. The number 1 defense in the league or the number 2 seed Patriots, who it just gets better every week, winning the division for the first time since TB. And finally, guys, the last divisional round game is a 6:30 game on Sunday. That is between the Rams and the Bears. I think this has potential to be a good game, too. Matt Stafford was this close to being eliminated from the playoffs last week. and the Bears come back. They were down, 2-3 scores to Green Bay, and they managed to win. I'm starting to believe more and more in Caleb every week. I truly am. After watching him play, he's going to win them guys some teams over there in Chicago. I truly believe that. So all 4 games, guys, again, the winners of the Bills and the Broncos will play the winners of the Texans and the Patriots. And then over in the NFC side of the bracket, the 49ers, Seattle winner will take on the Rams and the Bears winner next week in the championship round. And then we'll have a week off, and then it'll be Super Bowl time. Believe it or not, guys, 99 days away from the draft right here in Pittsburgh, guys. It's going to be the biggest offseason you've seen yet. We listen, 2 times we've seen a change of coaches. Did it have a draft in Pittsburgh the same year? Did it was a new quarterback on the line? This is going to be the biggest offseason that you as a Steeler fan, from my age, certainly down, but I can't speak for before my time. But as far as anything we've seen in our life, guys, this is going to be one of the biggest and most important integral off seasons for the Pittsburgh Steelers moving forward. We'll be here for it every step of the way. Also around the league, guys, this is because he's a Pitt guy, moved out to USC for his last season. Jordan Addison arrested again on Monday, first-degree misdemeanor for trespassing in an occupied structure. Jordan Addison, just another strike against that young man. And he's great. Don't get me wrong. He's going to continue to put up numbers. I used to love him when he was at Pitt. He moved to USC. I don't love him as much anymore, of course, but that also is going on in the league. Aaron Rodgers throws a touchdown to finish his career. It just wasn't the other team. It just wasn't to our team. The very last touchdown of Aaron Rodgers' career, the very last pass was the interception that went back to the house. The Houston Texans took pick 6, got a pick 6. Aaron Rodgers, that was his last pass of his career. Aaron Rodgers' last pass of his career was a touchdown, just to the other team. It's just an interesting stat tidbit to go by. Let me finish up here, and then we are going to get into the question of the day. And we don't even have an enemy. We don't have an opponent, so it's not going to be about anybody else. Today, it's going to be all about Coach T. Guys, today is going to be a Mike Tomlin trivia question. Do stick around and see if you think you might know the answer, stick around, leave your guess, educated guess, perhaps just something you know. Get that just 1 second here. I just want to make sure I didn't forget anything. There's a lot of stuff, man. There's a lot going on. Again, huge off season. You know what? Let's do it. Let's get into the trivia of the day, guys. This is the trivia of the day. This is your Mike Tomlin, Coach Tomlin question of the day. Put on your thinking caps. Everybody on the board, everybody at home. Here we go. Coach T, trivia question. What position did Mike Tomlin hold on the 0-2 Tampa Bay Super Bowl team? Don't look it up. See if you know it. If you're right, you're right. You're wrong. It's life. Question one more time. What position did Mike Tomlin hold on the Tampa Bay 0-2 Super Bowl team? DB coach is what Tyrone's saying. Tortilla also saying DB coach. Feel the steal. I'm not far off from that. I think Seattle's going to be in the Super Bowl. That's one of my picks. Again, we'll do picks later in the week. I know, and I know, Ty, but the thing was, maybe not for everybody. I knew a lot of people would know. Phil's still saying secondary coach. And again, this is kind of a day to it's a neutral day. We shouldn't be at each other's throats. Let's kind of all get on the same page. DB coach from Steel Menace. What's up, Kenneth? Always great seeing Kenneth on the board, my man. Maybe it was too easy, but let's see. Give you another moment or so. Throw up your guesses. If you know, throw it up there as well. What position did Mike Tomlin hold on the Tampa Bay 0-2 Super Bowl team? Throw your answer up, guys. If you think you know it, we're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 to 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day, right here on the tube. Also, you can check out our website at www.d2wmusers.com. A lot of things going on over there. Mike does a lot of work. He has his dumb thoughts up. He has all the links for all of our shows, contact information, and also if you think that this logo to my left is sharp, there's all kind of merchandise over there as well. All right, guys, time to get back into that's www.d2wmusers.com. All right, guys, time to get back into the question of the day. We're going to start getting ready to wrap things up here. What position did Mike Tomlin hold on the 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers championship Super Bowl team? I'm seeing a lot of DB coaches. I see a secondary coach, DB coach. Matter of fact, it's pretty unanimous. I don't see anybody saying anything else. Guys, question of the day is this. What position did MT, Coach T, Mike Tomlin, Iron Mike, whatever you want to go by, make love, not war, Jolly, I agree. Making love is so much better than war. Guys, you're all of Yins are 100% correct. He was the DB coach on that Super Bowl team back in 2002. One of the greatest defenses, in my opinion, ever in a season's time. That Tampa Bay defense back in the early 2000s. Then he went to he did. He went to the Vikings. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Ty. You are the man. Phil, my man, he says, cheers, Watt fans. Always great seeing you, Phil. I hope to see you back tomorrow. We will be back tomorrow at a regular time. But just let me get a few things off my chest before we do go. Here, I do have this. Guys, if you haven't had a chance and you want to get ready for the big playoff games this weekend and even to the national championship on Monday, do yourself a favor and stop and get yourself a case of Duquesne Pilsner. Now, if you are in the Western Pennsylvania area, Giant Eagle does have Duquesne Pilsner 12-packs. Stop, get the case, get a 6-pack, whatever it is. Enjoy yourself this weekend, as we had a plethora of it on Monday night. Mike and I did when we went down to the tailgate. But the guys at Duquesne Pilsner go out of their way to help us and include us in their promotions. And we want to do the same for them. Stop by, show them some love on their social media, or stop and grab some Duquesne Pilsner for the big game this weekend, made right here in Pittsburgh. As it says on the can, guys, grab a Duke. Also, I do want to say, what else do I want to say? Go check us out on social media. Stop by, hit the follow button, show us some love as well if we do anything for you. We're on Facebook, X formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok, guys. Any of those places, you can go hit the follow button. You can keep up with what's going on with the two Dum Yinzers on a day-to-day basis. And finally, guys, if you haven't had a chance yet, do hit the like button down below. Hit the sub, hit the subscribe, hit the share, comment, anything like that. It all helps in the algorithm. We appreciate it all. Thank you so much. I'm going to grab a couple messages. The Giant Eagles, Lindsay said they did the Eagle. Let me grab a couple of these messages here. RB says Mike Tomlin can hold these nuts in his mouth. Oh man, not on Mike Tomlin Appreciation Day. Jolly says this. Hey, the link never works in my end. Not sure what that was too. We apologize if it's anything on our behalf. Steeler Freak says this. The Vikings were 6-10 when they hired Tomlin. 6-10. There you go. We'll grab a couple more messages here. P says this. P Morton, Mike Tomlin seems like the kind of dude that had to break his addiction to sunflower seeds through pure willpower over 4 years. Jamal says this. Shaking my head, be careful what you guys wish for. I see Tyrone going ham after every game next year. You know what? We'll be here. Whatever happens, we're going to be here. Good, the bad, the ugly. We've been here to this point. Why would it change now? It's gonna be the same but different. It's still our Steelers. We're gonna hope for the win. We're just making a few changes as every team constantly does around the league year to year. This is nothing out of the ordinary, guys. I understand the love. I understand the people that don't love. But at the end of the day, this is our squad, and we're going to continue to get ready and to build the community, to strengthen the community, and to get ready to move on next year for when this team does start to become successful. If it's next year's too, whatever the case may be, we're here for it, guys. We ain't going anywhere. I do want to say thank you to everybody for coming and hanging out today. We do truly appreciate each and every one of you. We really, truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show. You are the lifeblood of the show, guys. I say it all the time, and I mean it all the time. Thank you to the terrible board and anybody else. You're just watching at home. Maybe you're in the car, or at the gym, or at work, listening, earbuds, pods, earphones, whatever the case may be. We thank you too, guys. You guys are all part of this team, and we are going to continue to win together. We're going to say thank you so much to everybody, guys. We will be back tomorrow to do it all over again. Same time, same place. It's Thursday. We are getting a little closer to the end of the week. Maybe we're going to get these picks in again. I don't know if we're going to do picks tomorrow or Friday. One of the 2 days, we will get these picks out. We're going to get our national championship pick out for Monday. So much going on, guys. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a coach hired by the weekend. Who knows? Again, the Steelers generally hire January. All 3 of the big 3 were January hires. Don't miss a moment, guys. We're going to be following it everything, every step of the way. We're here to do it with you. Hopefully, you're here to do it with us, guys. One more time, Mike, if you can hear me, anything before we take off? Maybe you have something that you want to get off your chest? It sounds like a no. Okay. I want to say thank you again to everybody. We'll be back tomorrow at our regular time. We got some new announcements. We have a couple big things also coming up this offseason, guys, as we continue to grow the show. So do just tune in tomorrow, guys. I think you're going to want to hear some of this stuff, and we might be needing your help. Guys. So again, thank you so much, everybody, for coming and hanging out with us today. We love all you guys. Guys, keep it together. It's going to be all right. It truly is going to be right. I promise you. Guys. Have the greatest Wednesday and the greatest hump day ever. Go make it worth it, whatever that means to you. Go make it the best hump day you've ever had. But stay safe doing it, guys. We'll be back tomorrow, regular time. I hope to see everybody then. I want to thank you, everybody on the terrible board again, every single one of you, for Finch, Derpy, myself, Mike, and the 2 Dum Yinzers show, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great hump day. Bye-bye.